Alright guys, it's GameboyLuke here, and welcome back to some more Pokemon Sword and Shield news, rumors, information, whatever you'd like to call it. Today, we had some information pop up over various websites. I think it originally came from a website called Reset Era, and then went onto Twitter. We had some translations and stuff like that, and we're going to be talking about it in this video. But, of course, if you guys are hyped for Sword and Shield, and any news and information we can get at this point, hit that like button. Don't forget to stay subscribed too, because obviously you stay notified whenever we get new information, and it's going to drop here as well. So I'm going to show you the first piece of information that we got. Apparently from a website called Reset Era. It's like our first piece of information that hasn't come from 4chan, so that's pretty cool. And what I'm going to show you is on screen now. It's a bunch of Chinese, and what I tried to do was actually take my phone and try and translate this, which wasn't the best way to go about it. I think this has already been translated, but I wanted to kind of just make sure that the post, because obviously you could tell me whatever you wanted in regards to what this Chinese text translates to. You could tell me whatever and I would believe you. So what I did is I took my phone out, I popped open Google Translate and actually made I took a picture of the text translated live through their app, which is really cool. Just to make sure that they're not like giving us a bunch of lies or whatever. But this is the original post. I mean, obviously the first thing that you can spot is this thing over here called Spirit Armor. I have no idea what that means, but we have already had some kind of rumors and some, like, you know, discussion about how armor is going to be changing Pokemon, and like Mewtwo armor form, and I've heard like Zeraora armor form and stuff like that. So that is right there. Again, this is, I don't think this necessarily, we can't really validate this as it coming from like a 100% trustworthy source, but it is interesting that this armor keeps coming up. As you can see with this next image, I actually took a picture of Google Translate, and obviously bear in mind this is very, like, you know, touch and go at this point, and we're gonna get into this in a moment. But just to compare the information that we've been fed with the image that I have here, basically we had a tweet from Fake Slurpuff. I had the tweet up a second ago. I guess I could reopen it. Give me a second. So Aimweave tweeted out tweets from Fake Slurpuff. Apparently these tweets have been deleted. The images are all here. Pokemon Sword and Shield rumor. This talks about the starters, final evolution types, as well as the new mechanic, real, fake. Have fun with the info. These original tweets have since been deleted. Of course, there's two ways to look at this. They were deleted because, oh no, I tweeted out information. Oh my god, I'm gonna get in trouble for doing it. Or B, it was like, I'm gonna tweet these, I'm gonna leave them up for an hour, then I'm gonna delete them and let everyone go crazy about it because they've been deleted. Oh no, you know, it kind of, it creates a false sense of, well, this must be true because they deleted it, right? Not necessarily the case, but let's go into the tweets. Fake Slurpuff said, 3 starter final Evos are Pure Fire, Pure Water, and Pure Grass, which I don't think we've ever had. But when combined with the new Spirit Armor, which we saw obviously in the previous text here, they become Grass Fairy, Firefighting, and Water Ghost. When actually thinking about the Pokemon themselves, I can see Water Ghost, but that's the only one I can really see. I do not see them doing Firefighting again. I don't see Grookey evolving into Grass Fairy, really. I don't know why, but there's something about that Pokemon that doesn't scream Fairy to me. So again, take this with a grain of salt. Next we have Fake Slurpuff tweeting about, it says, new Spirit Armor system is like inspiriting a Pokemon's moves. Each Pokemon can inspirit one move. Having different armors can have different effects. The armor doesn't occupy the battle item slot, but will occupy a new armor slot. Some old items have new armor effects. We have seen a new logo in the series logo, Sword and Shield, but I don't think that has anything to do with armor necessarily. I'm not sure. Apparently, Never Meltice, this is really vague, random information. I don't know why this information will be made, you know, known to them now. Never Meltice makes moves have a 10% chance to freeze. There's a Fire Necklace item that causes moves to become Fire type. Special armors can make Pokemon change forms to starters, Mewtwo and Meltan. Mewtwo, obviously, I think people are running away potentially with the idea that Mewtwo can change form because of the way that he was portrayed in the first movie, where he has all that armor to help him hone his psychic type skills. So, again, I'm taking this with a massive grain of salt. This follows up with, there's only one box legendary, a wolf, but it changes to a shield form or a sword form depending on the armor it gets. They have different types of moves. The form can be changed by transferring it to another version. The sword form is Dragon Steel. The shield form is Ice Steel. Okay. The box legendary cannot enter battle if it doesn't have armor. A lot of characters from Kalos return. Galos close to Kalos in geography, but you can't go to Kalos in the games. Okay, so a lot to dissect right here. But before we do that, let's go to the actual translation that I made and just see. It says here, 3 final form, keep pure grass, pure water. New collectively, the spirit of armor within. That kind of makes sense there. Change after become grass. So I guess this is basically saying, again, that, you know, the Pokemon changes type after it's had the armor put on it. System spirit armor effect is similar to skills enchant. Again, it is kind of following the basis of the message that we just read. Can only enchant a skill, carry different arm, will receive different effects. Arm will not take up a slot. Part of the old props will get armed effect. Arm the move, small knot. Selected skills will be included. So obviously, I guess that's assuming that only certain moves can be enchanted or whatever. Team probability, a flame necklace. There it is. So the same skills change the fire type. Special arms can make some Pokemon change form. Only God can have one. Okay. Again, this is talking about the cover legendary again. So it looks, I mean, obviously this is very, very, you know, hit and miss, touch and go right here, because it's simply just stating, it's just translating the Chinese literally without any context or anything like that. So it's not exactly perfect, but it is following along the lines of, you know, what we've been reading in these messages. So, okay, so if we go back to this part, the starters, I, again, don't think that they're going to make another firefighting type. I think, to be fair, a lot of people have been talking about how we don't want fire types again. A firefighting type. We don't want to see it. Grass Fairy. Can you honestly see Grookey evolving to Grass Fairy? Just from, like, the trailer you've seen, we've all derived our own sort of, like, pathways for what Pokemon typing they're going to end up at. And I don't think I've seen anybody, if, like, say, like, barely anybody say Grass Fairy for Grookey. We've all sort of said Grass Fighting, you know, he could be Grass Psychic, sort of that sort of way. I don't think Grass Fairy. I don't know, there's just something about that doesn't sound right. And Firefighting, specifically with the bunny, with Score Bunny, I don't know, dude. Okay, he could very well be, and Pokemon could just be, you know, tugging on us a bit more. Sorry, another firefighting type. But we've had so many of them now that I feel like they know that they got to do something different with that. And if anything, again, this is, you know, we're not taking this you know, as truth, but it's important to know that, hey, I don't know about that one. So okay, the armor slot. I'm a little bit upset. Well, not upset. That's the wrong word. But I want Mega Evolutions to return. Personally, I don't know like how you guys feel about that, but I want Mega Evolutions to return because I love Mega Evolutions. I thought, if anything, out of like Z moves and like Mega Evos, and this potential armor system, which I can't particularly comment about, I prefer Mega Evolutions. I think Mega Evolutions were one of the funnest things they did. They made old Pokemon, you know, feel new again. Like they put some polish on these new Pokemon. They were twinkling out of the gates. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. But they keep introducing armor system. Like with what I read, it kind of sounds similar to Z crystals. You drop a spirit item on, and it gives them another move. It doesn't occupy a move slot. It doesn't occupy an armor slot. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. The armor doesn't occupy the battle item slot. So it's like a Z crystal, but it doesn't occupy the item slot. So if you wanted to run like Firium Z on a Pokemon, that would take up the item slot. But now you can run Choice Specs and then the armor slot as well, whatever that is, right? Which I guess makes sense because Z crystals granted them an extra move, whereas this armor slot is just changing the Pokemon's form. Sort of like imagining if you could give the Gracidea flower to Shaman, and that would make it transform into, you know, Shaman Sky, kind of like that, but except, you know, Shaman is permanent. You use the item on it and it changes form. This seems to be you have to make it hold an item for its form to change. New Spirit Armor System inspiriting. It's like inspiriting a Pokemon's moves. Each Pokemon can inspirit one move. So again, taking that from Z crystals, you know, if you wanted to use, let me think, like the Tapu Z move, you had to use nature. You had to use it over Nature's Madness. So you had to have Nature's Madness if you wanted to do the Titan thing. You had just like 3/4 of someone's health, right? So you have to inspirit a move, a compatible move. Having different armors can have different effects. So I suppose maybe, you know, there might be some generic like Electrium armor or something, and it can power up a Thunderbolt or something like that. It sounds like a fusion. It genuinely sounds like a fusion of Z crystals and Mega Evolutions, because Mega Evolutions changed the Pokemon forms and stats, and Z crystals gave them like a boosted move, an extra move. But this armor stuff in spirit to Pokemon's move, it changes their form, which, you know, in turn will probably change some of their stats and stuff like that. Does that give them another move as well? Who knows? That's the vibe I'm getting from this. And if I'm being honest, when you think about it as well, it almost seems like, if, you know, just to kind of discredit this, is that they thought the Z Crystals and the Mega Evolution, they've slapped them together, put them in like a tweet and been like, hey, this is what's happening, by the way. So again, I'm always on the side of, like, you know, grain of salt. This very well might be fake. You know, it's very easy to just come up with stuff like this when you fuse two things that already exist and then just kind of, you know, you mold them together and, you know, you sand down the edges. Like, Never Mega, this is a very weird thing to talk about after dropping this. Why would we talk about Never Melt Ice giving 10% freeze effect? Again, I think this is just maybe, if this is true, it's kind of weird. I don't know if I like that. Because, like, it gives Icy Wind the chance to, you know, bring someone's speed down and then gets double freeze chance in double battles. That's not sure about that one. And I feel like they're adding this on maybe to kind of help their integrity, I suppose. Maybe seem like they know what they're talking about. There's a Fire Necklace item that causes moves to become fire types, which is cool. It's kind of like, you know, normalize, where it changes every move to normal type. But I don't know about that. Special armors can make Pokemon change forms, such as Stardust, Mewtwo, and Meltan. So I guess this is basically what I was saying before. You know, some armors may just power up moves, like Z Crystals, but some specific Pokemon, depending on what armor they have, like, you know, it's kind of like the specific Z Crystals, like I said, like Alola Raichium Z, Pikachunium Z, you know, Insinium Z, the rest of them, they work with specific Pokemon only, but, you know, there are generic Z Crystals that you can use for any Pokemon. It's kind of like that with the armors. So that's the vibe I'm getting, at least. Like, there are some armor that will work with every Pokemon, and some that work with specific Pokemon, and in turn, change their form. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. There's only one box legendary, which I can believe. We only ever got, like, what? The wolf? It's literally a wolf, and he's on part of the sword, part of the shield. And that's basically it. And the fact that, you know, this armor kind of ties into it, you know, this to me is quite believable. And if anything, this maybe gives it some grounds to believe it on, because there is only one Pokemon in the logo. We won't know until we see, like, a legendary reveal or a box, you know, an actual official box art reveal, because we always have the legendaries on the box art. But, you know, we only see a wolf on a sword and a shield. So does this make sense? You know, is there a regular form that can't be used in battle? And whenever you take him out, you have to apply one of the 3 or 2 armors to make it viable in battle. The form can be changed by transferring to another version. There's a box and a wolf, but it changes to shield or sword form depending on the armor it gets. Yeah. So I suppose, obviously, one game has the sword, one game has the shield. You can transfer the legendary Pokemon from your sword version to your shield version to then have access to both, or if you trade them, you have to take off the armor before you trade them, so you can only have one per game, which would be a little bit strange. But that makes sense because it's the legendary Pokemon. Sword, so this is cool. The sword form is Dragon Steel and one's Ice Steel, which I like. Those are really, really cool typings. I don't think we've seen Dragon Steel before. Dialga. Dialga's like the only Dragon Steel Pokemon we have. And Ice Steel. We've had Ice Steel before. I've read that as Ice Dragon, but that's cool. I mean, they're both Steel-type Pokemon, so again, that revolves around the fact that, you know, it's armor and steel and the rest of it. That's interesting. The box legendary cannot enter battle as an armor, like I said. A lot of characters from Kalos will return. That's nice. And I also, okay, so Galar is close to Kalos in geography, but he can't go to Kalos in the games. And as much as I'm hoping that we can, I can understand why we wouldn't. It's one of those things where we haven't had a dual region game in a very, very long time. And with a game of this size and this scale, it's a lot more difficult to add a new region, unlike Gold and Silver. You know what I mean? Gold and Silver, originally Gold and Silver, it was a copy and paste of Red and Blue over, and they changed things. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they made it from the ground up, but again, they weren't working with, like, I mean, the roots are technically 3D models, but they're mainly working with sprites. There's no, like, intense modeling going on when you make Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Now we're in the 3D realm, and it takes a hell of a lot longer of a time, sentence structure, to develop an area. It's way more convoluted than it used to be, so I can get behind the fact that we're not going back to Kalos, but we can still dream, okay? I want to go back to Kalos. I have a lot of nostalgic attachment to X and Y, so it'd be so sick to go back, but I can also understand that, Kalos characters can come over. We just won't be able to go back there ourselves, but we can still, I can dream. I will leave the tweet linked in the description below if you guys want to go read about it yourself, and you know, make your own opinions, and let me know if you see any holes in this. You know, what specifically about this irks you the wrong way. What do you think about this? Kind of, you know, removes the legitimacy. And do you believe it? What do you think? Give me your opinions down below. You know, I don't like touching on things that I think that are complete and utter bullshit. This has... I'm like 60-40, 70-30, no, 80-20, I reckon. I don't believe this, but I thought I'd cover it anyways because, again, it's fun to speculate. It's fun to talk about potential. And then when the games drop, you can be like, that fake Slurpuff guy, he was right, or damn, he was wrong, or whatever. You know, this is the time to talk about Pokemon, and I like to spark discussion on Twitter and in the comment section and stuff like that as well, so... Yeah, let me know your thoughts below. If you want to stay up to date with Sword and Shield news and the like, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell too. Don't forget to like the video as well, helps support me. And I will see you guys in the comment section. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.